Shayna's got a plan, no need to fret. Found a way to help that you won't forget. Doctors lost the answers, but she found the key. Empowering ladies, setting us free. Battling the storm with courage and grace. Shayna's got the wisdom to help you embrace. No more relying on pills they don't know. She's got the strength to help you grow. Feel the power rising inside. Shayna's guidance right by your side. Life's getting brighter step by step. With Shayna's touch, you're gonna prep. Feel the power rising inside. Shayna's guidance right by your side. Life's getting brighter step by step. With Shayna's touch, you're gonna prep. Medicine shelves are emptying out. Finding real strength, that's what it's about. No more prescriptions tying you down. With Shayna's help, you'll wear the crown. Ladies, hear the call, it's time to rise. Shayna lifts the veil, opening eyes. No more shadows breaking your day. With her wisdom, fight pain away. Broken paths don't mean you're lost. Shayna shows to bear through the cost. Healing hearts one smile at a time. With Shayna, you'll shine forever and feel the power rising inside. Shayna's guidance right by your side. Life's getting brighter step by step. With Shayna's touch, you're gonna prep. Finding the strength deep inside. Shayna Melissa takes us on this ride, from suffering to a life so free. Her healing touch, she'll set you free with a heart.
Hey guys, are you waking up exhausted, stretching, feeling that pain, then possibly looking in the mirror and saying, oh my God, I see that extra weight. What happened to my younger self? We don't want you guys waking up like that anymore. Today, we're going to bring you more joy. For those of you that may not know me, I am Shayna Melissa Stockman, the autoimmune expert who empowers mostly ladies to get and feel better when their doctors and meds didn't. And I offer online and in-person classes, courses, workshops, and book signings. And today's topic is more joy. For those of you that are on right now, drop us down below, #live, or if you watch this on the replay, and let us know where you're tuning in from. We're going to have the capabilities to stream your questions live across the screen, as well as your comments. And I see those eyeballs. So definitely, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please make sure you drop some hearts, some likes, some comments, so we know who's tuning in and we can cater it to you guys. And definitely click that subscribe button. So more joy. Do you ever notice sometimes other people around you are smiling and laughing more? And you're like, why not me? Why not now? Well, you could smile and laugh more. Well, sometimes we just have to change the mindset, to change the action, to change the end outcome. And today we're going to do this a little bit differently. There's going to be some surprises. I have no idea what's going on. Last week, our special guest was from Japan. The week before, I came to you guys from Florida. Now I am back in New York. Now, my fellow nurses and healthcare pros out there and the mamas, I realized I had an aha moment when I was working, and finally I was off a weekend day. Now, picture this: as a nurse, I worked all the weekends, all the holidays, because when I did home care and the hospital and the urgent cares, there had to be nurses all the time. So keep in mind, guys, your fellow nurses are not off the holidays you are. We're asked to pick one holiday to be off. Okay, do you want to be off Christmas, New Year's, your birthday, Memorial Day, Labor Day, July 4th? So, guys, spread some love to your fellow nurses. I know I was working weekends for like 30 years, every Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. And, my kidneys were backing up, my sugars were bottoming out. I was exhausted all the time doing back to back 16s. And finally, one day I was off on like a Sunday afternoon, and I went to the beach to watch a band play. And I saw all of these people around smiling and laughing. And that was an aha moment for me. I'm like, oh my God, this is like 30 years of working weekends, 30 years, 365 days times 30 years of working weekends and 52 weeks a year and think about it, 52 weeks in a year, and there's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That means 3 weekend days. So I worked 150 weekend days a year times 30 years. And I'm like, is this what I missed out on? Just relaxing. Actually, my fellow nurses, you can relate to this, sitting down and eating a meal without aspirating it, right? Without wolfing it down, choking on it. Oh my God. So that was an aha moment for me, that I was able to sit down, eat a meal, not choke on it, actually enjoy myself. And I knew, I'm like, I want this more. I want more joy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I don't know where we're jumping into now. Maybe live on the air with Elizabeth Marosco and
Yeah, so today we're going to have a little bit of fun. I think one of the
yeah,
key things is for people to get an idea of having joy doesn't mean that you eliminate difficulties in life. And Shayna, today is a chance for really your listeners to have a deeper understanding on your background, because you come out here often, I think, with a bubbly smile, but I don't think people understand some of the health conditions you've had to overcome and how that's become a driving force with the programs that you're creating that are revolutionizing healthcare today. So today I thought for our segment, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Elizabeth Morosco. I'm Shayna's producer, and we're just going to share a little bit of a behind the scenes on Shayna and help you understand that joy is not just like a come and go moment of emotion. It's something that you work on. It's something that can stick around for a while, but you got to go through a little bit of grit and grind. And I'm hoping that Shayna's story can inspire you to get out there, not give up hope. I want all of you to be
yes,
inspired that no matter where you're at in life, whether it's through a health crisis, a life crisis, a death, a divorce, your house burnt down, your dog's sick, you're sick, you're going to overcome this, but you've got to be willing to reclaim your life, like Shayna keeps telling. And I know firsthand, Shayna's had a positive impact on my health and wellness. So, Shayna, I was hoping today we
okay.
could start, and you kind of started at the beginning, digging into it a little bit, but to share a little bit on your story as far as where did your journey begin? And
Ooh,
how is it that you turned from mainstream health nurse practitioner to doing these innovative, crazy workshops online and burning beyond what big pharma is telling you to do? And you're kind
yeah,
of trailblazing by yourself. So where
yeah.
and why did this journey start? Tell
Okay,
us
thank
a
you
little
for
about
raising
that.
awareness about this. And people need to know, I have not always been this joyous. When I was suffering with my autoimmune disorders, multiple of them, I was miserable. I was probably a lot like a lot of you. I was waking up exhausted. I was trying to stretch in pain. I was looking in the mirror, seeing that extra weight, looking back on what happened to my much younger self. So I went through a lot of that suffering and I came out on the other side. And I like to say we need the rain to appreciate the rainbows, right? Without the rain, we don't have the rainbows. So I have hope for you. I said, listen, we could send men and women to outer space. There's something much bigger here. Where I started, my grandma, God rest her soul, raised me with the powers of the plants. Now, long story short, because it is a long story, my grandpa was a pharmacist and he died of a lethal drug, a prescription drug interaction. This is why I believe my grandma resorted more towards the naturopathy. I would watch her eat a banana every day and in later years discover it was the magnesium and the potassium for her heart and her blood pressure, so she didn't need a pill. I would watch her eat low salt food so she wouldn't need a blood pressure pill. So I believe grandma went more naturopathy because she lost her husband, the pharmacist, to a deadly, lethal prescription drug interaction. So we have to go back to basics. Before we had all of these meds, we had powers of the plants. And I dare you to Google Rockefeller and how the medicine started. I don't want to say too much about that. So thank God, kudos to my grandma that raised me with naturopathy, holistic plant-based medicine. And prescription drugs is a leading cause of death in this country. I mean, look at my grandpa, the pharmacist. People need to realize that drugs kill more people in the US than motor vehicle accidents nowadays. So let's not resort to them first. And a lot of times they're just masking tape on garden hoses and they don't help us. So thank you for letting me ramble. But basically, I've been a healthcare pro for over 30 years experience. And all the patients I saw with autoimmune disorders, no matter which doctor they went to, which diagnosis they had, whichever med they were on, the job of those meds was to suppress their immune system so it wouldn't fight itself. So all of those patients had a suppressed immune system, were sick more often, longer, more severe symptoms, lasting longer, getting side effects, needing more meds, and afraid to leave their bubble. So when I had my diagnoses, including MS and heart failure, I did not want to do what those patients had done because I knew I'd end up with those results. So I had to do differently. In order to do differently, I had to think differently. What weren't they doing that could help me? Look at my grandma. She was not on the prescription drugs. What can I learn from that? So I did things totally differently, got totally different results. I left the sick care system. And now I'm also educating a lot of healthcare pros with my trailblazing techniques so that they can offer them to their clients. Because only after the patients are aware of all the available options can they truly make an informed decision.
I love that answer. And, I think by educating health professionals with alternatives that are maybe not as invasive can be a game changer in everyone's overall health and wellness. And I think it's something that really needs to be encouraged. There's two things kind of stemming off there. Number one, seniors that are so invested into what their doctor said and they read it by law, they read it like it's scripture, they read it like it is the only way. And the problem is some of these doctors have not been exposed to the knowledge that you have because it's not quote unquote endorsed by big pharma. And I'll limit some of the stuff here. But one thing I do want to say that's kind of like a positive spinoff, there used to be, I think, this over push of antibiotics. Somebody would get sick, instantly wanted an antibiotic without it really being necessarily an appropriate fit. And there are doctors that are being more aware of when do you administer, antibiotics versus, bacterial versus virus. And I'm glad because there is some resistance. We're even in seeing that like through, things like hand wash and all the sanitizing, these different resistance levels that are happening with overdoing medicine where it's not necessarily needed. And one of the things I think is if you can take a natural approach and if that works, go that route and then introduce something else if it's needed, but not
Yes.
until, and the same thing with Motrin. Like I will say, like, I've suffered from migraines. You've helped me a lot with my migraines, Shayna. Um, but I had to do some shifts with my food, the way that I was doing some self management, sleeping, caffeine, exercise, versus taking that one quick pill that will help. And sometimes you don't have a choice, but then it starts ripping up your stomach. So there's a consequence for everything. And I think that the approach that you're taking is so needed. And I love that you're empowering nurses and other health professionals, because I know you've had doctors come to you as well on that. And, before we get to the journey on like you getting to the point you're advising
Well, before the
medical
next point,
professionals.
can I
Go ahead.
interrupt 1 second?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when you were saying about me impacting the fellow nurses and healthcare pros, that that was a recent aha moment for me, because when I work one-on-one with a patient, I impact that patient, which might impact her children, her husband, her parents, and that's good. That's reaching a bigger audience. However, I realize this: when the healthcare pros aren't aware of all the options out there, they can't offer it to their patients, and the patients can't make an truly informed decision. So now, when I educate one healthcare pro, for every healthcare professional I educate, be it a nurse practitioner, a doctor, which I have educated a lot of them, each one of those may possibly see about 1,000 patients a year, or friends, family, neighbors, coworkers with autoimmune disorders. So for every single one healthcare pro I impact, I could potentially impact 1,000 other people per year. So if I educate 1,000 healthcare pros a year, and they each impact 1,000 people a year with autoimmune disorders, that's six extra zeros. That's 1 million people per year. So I want to create not that tidal wave effect, not that rippling effect, but that massive tidal wave effect. For every healthcare pro I teach, they could impact 1,000 lives per year. And if I impact 1,000 healthcare pros who each impact 1,000 lives, that's one lives per year. That's a tidal wave that I'd like to have on people. Healthcare pro I teach.
Recently had spoke at the nurse practitioner event, to how many nurses from around the world and other organizations that are really starting to open up to this approach of holistic health and wellness, where it's beyond just the scope of just traditional. And I think that this is a positive indicator. So share this a little bit with the viewers.
Okay. So when I spoke, that was considered a national conference or convention, but it was actually international, because there was nurse practitioners from Taiwan and Japan, and I was the autoimmune expert that enlightened the fellow nurse practitioners about autoimmune disorders, how to recognize the signs and symptoms earlier, so we can do earlier diagnostics, earlier treatments. I also was educating them on environmental triggers, food triggers, drink triggers, healthier alternatives, what they're deficit in, and not to resort to those medications as first line like we have been. So from there, one of the audience members reached out to me and said, "Can you train my residents?" Those are resident doctors, doctors that already graduated medical school, but still need some extra experience, if you will. So now I'm training not only the nurse practitioners, but the doctors who are already doctors and graduated. So if you're old school thinking, say, "Oh no, I'm just going to go to the doctor," look who they're learning from. Hello, they're learning from me. And I'd say it like this: if you go to a restaurant, you want to know where the chefs are eating and eat there, right? If you want to go where the doctors are learning from, they're learning from me. I've trained a lot of residents, because what I'm teaching them are things not taught in school. And especially if they're an older school doctor, they're not necessarily up to date on cutting edge. And if they're brand new, then they might not be experienced. Where that's where I find I come in handy, because I have over 30 years experience as a licensed healthcare pro, 5 college degrees, 4 nursing, medical license in this, but also I've been the patient suffering with the autoimmune. So I can truly relate to this from each and every angle possible.
And this is something right here. This is what I was trying to dig into a minute ago that I think a lot of people miss on your story is that story of like your first steps. I'm not sure if some people know about your struggle with MS, of overcoming heart failure, but I would love it if you would share that story of
Okay. So,
one of the defining moments when you knew that you had to make a career change and
ooh,
how that really became the catapult of making everything start to shift. If you could share
okay.
that story, I think that that could really shift a lot of minds
Okay.
because it seems to be like a milestone.
So, where do I begin with this one? A lot of my symptoms, which you may have listening to this, were vague. And a lot of times we chalk it up to, oh, I'm getting older. Oh, I'm working too much. And, you go to the doctors and they blow you off. They're like, oh, your tests are normal. You're fine. You're getting older. You're doing too much. And I knew, listen to your gut. There was something more. I was not that energetic self I was anymore. I was waking up exhausted. I was in pain out of proportion. My hair was falling out in clumps. I was getting palpitations, but I wasn't anxious. I was having difficulty sleeping. I was having shortness of breath, but I don't have asthma. Weird rashes that would come and go when they wanted. All of a sudden, I have IBS symptoms, and no one in my family had it. Uh, those symptoms were out of proportion to what it should be. Some of the doctors look at you like, maybe you're drug seeking or you're seeking pain pills. I wasn't. They thought maybe you're seeking a specific diagnosis. Okay, what do you want to have? And I'm like, no, I want to have an answer to why I feel the way that I feel. So I was not drug seeking. I didn't want pills. I wanted an answer. And a lot of you out there might be able to relate to this. The tests sometimes don't show for years. Most ladies with these weird medical mysteries and symptoms will be misdiagnosed for years. That means you're blown off, you're gaslit by the doctor, you're feeling bad for years until you're correctly diagnosed. So please, please, please reach out to me or someone that knows that can relate to you. So that was my symptoms. One of my aha moments, I was running an urgent care. So my diagnoses for autoimmune were everything from Hashimoto's to IBS, gastric paresis, MS, heart failure. At one point, I had some kidney failure going on, and I was blown off because the tests weren't showing the reason for anything. So my aha moment as a nurse, you can relate to this. I was working 16 at plus hours back to back to back to back. I was not eating all day. Lucky if I got to grab a sip of a drink midday. My kidneys were backing up. My sugars were bottoming out. And I was working for the facility where they banged the CEO. And I was told running around there, I was in full-blown heart failure, mind you. This was the start of the pandemic. I'm working on skeleton crew, lack of supplies, triple the amount of patients. And they knew I was in heart failure, and I was still running the urgent care with no doctors, nobody as equivalent to me or higher than me. And I was asked at the end of the day, so how many did you see today? And I'm running around this urgent care and my heart is getting worse. I'm in heart failure. And that for me was an aha moment. I'm looking around, I am helping everyone there. When and me, the nurse, get to be the patient and get cared for. I'm like, oh my God, I am worse off. I'm in organ failure. They're called vital organs for a reason, okay? They're vital to sustain life. And I'm like, I am worse off than all these people. Am I not just as worthy, if not more so? Am I not just as deserving? So you too are worthy. You too are deserving. If not you, now when? I was in heart failure. How much longer could I have gone on? No. So, I had some other aha moments, but that was my final straw in the sick care system. Mm-mm. Bye bye,
Yeah,
sister.
I would say that that would definitely be a moment where it's like, okay, enough of that. Time to say, hey, I got to make a change, a little bit of a change, and sometimes it takes time, but sometimes it's braving the water. So when you start taking some of these first steps though, Shayna, this is the interesting part
Well, that was a
is
scary step, to be
it
honest.
it's
That was
always
my
scary.
dentist.
Yeah, whenever you're doing something new, it's always a little bit scary. And I I recently I started doing more walking for my first steps, and as you know, like I overdid it when I was first getting back into it, and then you kind of gave me the gentle, hey, wait a minute, you got to slow down, you got to.
Sure.
So you gave me
Yeah.
some coaching, but I think a lot of times when we go to take those first steps, physically or metaphorically, we become a little afraid, and I would love to know for you taking your first steps to do this career change,
Okay.
how would you say your overall life and joy is now that you've made that
Ooh.
change?
I'm sure
Like,
they
are you
can see it, but I look at it like this. Moving forward is always, a lot of times, not always, but very often scary. You don't know what's coming ahead. But what happened for me is I knew moving forward was scary, but it was scarier for me not moving forward. So you my fellow nurses out there, think about it. Moving forward scary, but what if you don't move forward and you're in that same job until the day you die? Or even 20 more years, or even 10 more years, or even 5 more years, or just one more year. I couldn't even picture being there one more month. So, although moving forward was scary, what was even scarier was not moving forward and being in the same exact place. So, for me, it was scarier to be stagnant than moving forward. Mm-mm. And how am I now? Well, I did a lot of things differently. I said, listen, what don't I like? What makes me sad and mad? Let me just do it less, right? What makes me happy and laugh more? And as long as it's legal, ethical, and moral, why don't you do it more? So things that upset you, do them less. You don't have to do them. Things that make you happy, if they're legal, ethical, and moral, do them more. I also had to learn to say no. And ladies out there, even the gentlemen, I want you to practice saying no. It could be with your puppy dog, your significant other, in the mirror. No was the hardest word for me to start saying. But the more I said no, gave me more time and energy to put into the things that brought me great joy. Because I noticed saying yes to everything meant each one of those yeses took away my time and energy that I had no time and energy for me. And the more I said no, the more time and energy I had for me to do like my happy dance.
I like a happy dance. I like your happy dance. Actually, and that's one of your tips that I love are simple daily things that you can do to infuse joy, happiness, and overall well-being. For listeners that don't know about your happy dance, tell them about that because this is something that every single business person should do at least once a day, if you can, multiple times throughout the day. And imagine how
Yeah,
happier a
so
world
we're
it would
always so
be.
busy in our
So
lifestyle. And I figured out 1,440. I don't know if you guys know the significance of that number, but 1,440 is the number of minutes per day. And what if you just took 4 minutes out of 1,440 to just stop, pick a happy song, and dance? You are worthy. You are deserving of at least 4 minutes of 1,440 per day. Pick a happy song and dance first thing in the morning. It de-stresses you. It releases a few endorphins. It thickens your bones a little, burns a couple calories, adds to stamina, releases endorphins to make you feel good, happy, and smile. So just please, guys, do a 4 minute happy dance a day. I don't care how busy you are. If you're the executive of a multi-million billion dollar company, delegate duties out, say no, and do a 4 minute happy dance.
all right, I'm dancing with you, Shayna. even if it's in digital spirit. You're looking good. All right. But I will take that to heart. I was saying this to one of my close friends, and her husband is overweight. He's got some issues. He doesn't want to go to the gym, but they used to dance all the time. And I was telling her, I said, well, Shayna says Shane that I should have a little button that says Shayna says, um, get up and start dancing. Just and I told her to tell him you don't even have to, act like anybody's around. Put on your favorite music from the 80s or 90s and just get down with it at your desk for a little bit. Get a little bit funky, get that cardio going. And yeah, it can be fun. Or you can go out and go dancing too. I haven't done that in
Yes,
forever.
there's lots of restaurants with live music, live bands. People are just sitting there. I don't
Shayna's
care
a
if I'm going around
dancing
the
diva.
corner.
I need a dancing diva emoji to go by when we do your show next time. We'll have a little diva
I
go
mean,
by.
and I want to give a shout out to Marilyn. I don't know, she's watching right now on the replay. Marilyn said to me, and I had to Google the interpretation from the French, but and I thought I had it right, but it was something like, "I love your love for life." Or something like that. I
Nice.
hope I didn't botch it too bad. It was French to English, so.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had
Everything
had
sounds
this.
better in
I was,
French, doesn't it? Well, hey, listen, we don't know how to say it in French, but we do know how to tell you in English.
yes. And hey, guys, while you're there, like, heart, drop a comment, share this with somebody that you know needs some positivity, needs more joy in life. Definitely click that subscribe. If you're on YouTube, if you're not, go to youtube.com at Shayna Melissa. Click that subscribe button. It's no cost, but that'll help you see our messages more often, our notifications when we go live. And it'll also support our channel to open up our message so more people can see it. So please like, share, subscribe to all those you know and love, follow.
Yeah, so I have one more question for you, and then I want to make sure that we do a reminder because you do have an event that's coming up here pretty soon. Believe it or not, it's less than a month away. You kind of went and took some joyous fun in July, so no workshop for you this month. We're
Yay.
missing you, Shayna, so we can't wait to get you back in August.
I'm missing you too, but I'm learning. I don't like balance, this work life balance thing. I like integrating them. So, like when we were in Florida, I still live streamed from there of the Shayna Show. All right, now it's time for me to tell you about Reclaim Your One Life. From
I
the
love it.
comfort of your couch. There's the web right there, worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. Like I said, there's 1,440 minutes in a day. Aren't you worthy of just 1 hour? There's hundreds of hours in a month. I'm going to say it again, you are worthy. You are deserving of this. It's time for you to reclaim your life. If not now, when will you ever do this? And this month, it's absolutely no cost. I don't know if I'm going to keep it that way in the future. There'll probably be a decent price to it. So just go to worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim, claim your no cost or VIP experience. It's going to be a power hour Thursday, August 7th, 7 p.m. EST to 8 p.m. Mark your calendars. Thursday, August 7th, 7 p.m. EST till 8 p.m. is the no cost version. It's going to be a super workshop with lots of gold nuggets in there. If you level up to VIP, you're also going to get a digital and printable 20-page blueprint with all of the notes on reclaiming your life. You're going to get an extra 60-minute power hour of live Q&A in a smaller, more intimate group to get answers to all of your questions in real time, and a mini private confidential consult, all for less than you would spend on the cost of lunch. Oh my God. So I don't know if I'll ever offer the free seat again or the VIP this low. So please, please, please claim it now. I am limiting the number of no cost and VIP seats. Just go to worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim and claim your no cost or VIP seat. If not now, when will you ever? Probably never. Think about that. Let that set in.
Will guilt trip you into getting yourself well. Yeah. And actually,
Not
a
so,
lot of
but
times people, they try not to make themselves a priority. It's okay to make yourself a priority, moms. It's okay.
you have to.
Dads, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't, who
Caregivers, it's
will?
okay.
Yes, think about it like this. Most people, a lot of people prioritize themselves. So if you don't prioritize yourself, who's gonna?
That's right.
Your
That's right.
kids, your spouse? No, doubt it.
So, hey, here's one more
Mom,
thing because I know we're getting close on time, but this is something I thought that was kind of important that I was really hoping that we could cover with your viewers today. Is
okay,
I don't think some people know really like your journey as far as having MS. And I'd love it if you could tell us a little bit about, the daily challenges you used to have
okay.
with MS, and then share with us where you're at now. And I think that this could be insightful to give people hope that they can have joy again. Because if you
Yes.
feel like trash, it's sometimes it's easier to feel joy if you can feel good, and part of it's having the right tools to get there. So share a
Okay.
little bit about that challenge and how you overcame it, if you would, please. I'd love
So
that.
I went from high energy to exhausted all the time. I was waking up exhausted. I was waking up in excruciating pain, even though I hadn't even done anything yet. I was looking in that mirror and seeing extra pounds on me, even though I was trying to eat healthy and trying to stay active. I was what you call aspirating. I was drinking whatever water, and I would be choking on it because it would be going into my lungs. I was starting to slur my speech a little bit. Even when I wasn't drinking, I was stumbling over my feet when I wasn't drunk. I was getting clumsy, and I'm like, is this normal? Like, I don't see other people choking on their water all the time, tripping over their feet when they're not drunk, slurring their words when they're not drunk. The food felt like it was staying in my stomach for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and in my intestine for like a week. I was diagnosed with what they call gastric paresis, means the food's not moving out of your stomach. It's moving at an extremely slow down pace. That's typically a sign that often leads to an MS diagnosis. I was having, the doctors, that I was a medical mystery. All the tests were fine. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Some of the doctors were trying to give me reassurance that you're just getting older, you're doing too much, your tests are fine. Other doctors thought I was seeking pain pills, but I wasn't. I wanted an answer. The meds led to side effects that led to more meds. I was feeling worse on the meds. So what did they do? Give me more meds with more side effects. Then you're taking the anti-inflammatory, you get an ulcer, a bleeding ulcer. Then you need more meds for the bleeding ulcer. Um, it was not good. The doctors were gaslighting me. They were looking at me like I was crazy. They would just repeat the same test over and over and over. They would just send me to another specialist. Oh, you don't like that one? All right, you want another one? All right, we'll give you another one. Another specialist, another specialist. Let's repeat that same test for the sixth time, knowing it's not going to show anything different, just to appease me. They would even ask me, is there a specific diagnosis you're looking for? And I just wanted an answer. So I hope if you're getting some of these symptoms, you reach out, you advocate for yourself, you write down all your questions, you go for a consult with a significant other. If it's a parent, a child, a spouse, you go in the middle of the week, middle of the day to get more time. You reach out to me for a private, confidential consultation. I will give you, gold nuggets to move you forward. I'll see if we're a good fit to work together, either individually, one-on-one, or even in a group like setting. I offer all of this virtually, so you can be in any state or country. I have clients in from Hong Kong to Australia, Canada, um, that we can work together virtually, either privately, one-on-one confidential consultations, or in the group setting with my other autoimmune warriors in our 90-day program. Um, and I think there was a part two to your question.
Well, I think the big part is just, I think giving people hope. And I think that sometimes people don't see your struggle that you went through. They think that you're just out here
So
and you're
I think you were
perky and
asking about what made me change and do things differently. Okay, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same exact thing and expecting a different outcome. And every time I went to the doctor, I tried another med. I went to the doctor, I tried another med. I went to the doctor, I got another test, I tried another med. The definition of insanity is doing the same exact thing, expecting a different outcome. Now, I learned it like this. If you keep going to your cancer doctor and your cancer is getting worse and spreading, why aren't you firing your doctor? I know when I had construction done in my house, like my kitchen, if I didn't like the workers and I didn't like the work they were doing, I fired them and I got somebody else. Why, if your healthcare provider is not getting you healthy, why do you continually listen to their advice that's letting you to feel worse and worse and worse? You don't have to. You can fire any of the people that work for you. Healthcare providers are working for you. If they're not helping you get healthy or they're helping you feel worse, why are you still going back to them? Like if I went to a restaurant and I had the worst meal ever, would I go back to that restaurant and pay them more money for more crappy service? No. So why the H are you doing that with your health care? I don't know how many people are going to the oncologist and they're still getting worse and their cancer's still spreading and they still go back to that same doctor. Oh, let's try this, try that, try that. What are you, a guinea pig? You're not a guinea pig. Why don't you learn from people who have been there, done that, and can show you the way? When I was building, sorry for my rambling, when I was building this kitchen, I knew I could go to Google and try to figure it out myself. The wiring, the electric, the specs, the codes in my town. And I knew if I did a Google research, it would probably be 5 years later and my kitchen would still be in pieces, right? So guys, stop going to Google for your research. I have over 30 years experience. Google cannot give you that answer to what I did to get better. So please, guys, stop using Google. If I use Google, my kitchen would still be in pieces. Look how beautiful it looks. Why? Because I hired professionals that were trained and experienced and had done it thousands of times to work out all the kinks. And that's what I've done for my autoimmune warriors. I have experienced, I've done this thousands of times. I've worked out all the kinks. I know what works, what doesn't work. Instead of going to the doctor, here he says, try this. Try that. Try it. You're not a guinea pig. Why do you have to try something? I know what works for my autoimmune clients over thousands that I've helped over decades. So just go to the expert. Like I went to the expert that did kitchens and they built me my kitchen. It expedited my journey. It took away all the headache, all the hassle, all the guesswork, all the Google searches. So go to a licensed healthcare professional that is experienced at what you need. My area of expertise are autoimmune disorders. You have that, come to me. You know, you have a broken bone, don't come to me, okay?
So, last thing is, I'm going to call it the one thing. If there was one thing that you could tell people with autoimmune, what is the one thing that you want them to know?
One thing.
I mean, it's a lot. I know you got 30 years of experience,
So
professional and
one thing
personal.
I would want you to know is there's so many fakes out there. They don't have licenses. They claim to diagnose, cure, treat, and they can't. The one thing you need to know about your autoimmune disorder is me. I could be the game changer for you. I have 5 college degrees, 4 nursing and medical licenses, 30 plus years of expertise at autoimmune. I am not just the healthcare pro. I was also the patient. So I can relate to you. So if you need to know one thing about autoimmune disorders, it should be me, the autoimmune expert. It should be going to the workshop so you can learn more about the 90-day program or reach out to me for a discovery call or a private consultation. So the one thing you need to know about autoimmune disorders is I am the autoimmune expert and the world wellness expert. So they can go to catch the workshop at worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim or reach out for a private confidential consultation as well. And I offer a tired 90-day program that takes you through every single thing you need to go from where I was to where I am. I have actually mapped out the blueprint of everything that helped me and crossed off everything that didn't help me. So there is no try this, try that. You are going to learn the specific techniques that I went through. So I went from that to now happy, energetic, no pain, no medications, thicker head of hair, back to my ideal weight, sugars, blood pressure, and no flare ups in years. I want to expedite your wellness journey. Go to someone that cares and knows. Dun, dun, dun. I love that emoji. If you haven't already, marked your calendars. I'm not sure what's happening here for Thursday, August 7th at 7 p.m. So I can help you reclaim your one life to get back to where you were, where you had more energy, where you didn't have that pain, where you weren't relying on the pills, where you weren't spending all this time scheduling doctor's appointments, going for tests, picking up medications, popping medications. So the one thing I want you to know is reach out to me. And I think we're still live, so I'm gonna.
Yes, we are still live. I couldn't unmute myself. I was in the
Oh,
background for a minute.
beautiful.
Hey, yeah, we had a little bit of noise going on over here with the neighbor. But hey, I wanted to thank you for sharing your story. I think sometimes people that have overcome obstacles like MS or cancer, they walk around like they're healthy, which is great. But then the people that are going through it, they need to know there are success stories. You can have hope and you can still live each day with joy, but it starts with your frame of mind and willingness to change. So Shayna, thanks for being a warrior, coming back and helping people get healthy, not being afraid, not caving to the norms of this is how it's always done, because if you did, we wouldn't see as many people starting to feel good that are coming out of your program. And I think it's one of the things that I really enjoy in the background is I get to see people as they're coming in at the beginning phases and they're hurting and they're sharing their stories. And then later listening to their testimony after they've had a chance to encounter the knowledge that you have. So, with that being said, thank you for sharing your knowledge because that's how we make our
Thank
healthy
you for
communities
dragging me out of it.
possible. Yeah,
And
well,
you
no, I
know what?
appreciate you.
I want to say one more thing. I don't know who said this, so I can't quote them. And I don't know if it was a famous person but it was definitely a very successful person. What they said is if someone has what you want, look what they did to get it. Right? So if you're suffering with autoimmune and you want to have the energy I do, the thicker the hair, be back to your ideal weight, look what I did to get what I have. And it's not a secret. I'm sharing it with you on the upcoming workshop, Reclaim Your Life, and in my 90-day program. So again, there you go. Mark your calendars. Thursday, August 7th, 7 p.m. EST for a power hour. Just you have to reserve your seats. Even those in my groups are not having access to this unless they register. worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. You can either claim your free seat or your VIP experience there. So it's important to, if you do nothing, you're not going to be further along. You might be further back. So what if you did something? What if you learned from the person who has what you want?
Yeah, and
So
just
we'll,
that 1 hour, the knowledge that they're going to get, it's unbelievable. It's the best time investment that you'll make for that entire month. You
yes,
literally, uh, what I get blown away about is it's not the self promoting endorsement filled with nonsense jargon. You literally go overboard. In fact, I even tell you, you got to scale it back. You're giving away the cow. You're giving away
yeah,
the
I do give
cow.
away
You got
a
to
lot of
stop.
gold nuggets. But I
But
mean,
there's
what
so much
better?
that people walk away from that they can apply like that day to feel better.
Yes,
That day.
yes, yes. And what better to do? I mean, it's free. It doesn't cost anything. What better do
No.
you have to learn from someone who has what you may want?
Yeah. So go register. Let's throw that one screen up here real quick before.
All right, there it is. August 7th, 7 p.m. EST. You got to register at wellwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. When you claim your no cost seat, you will have an option to level up to the VIP experience, which I highly recommend. I am limiting the number of free and VIP seats. VIP is going to have a lot of cool perks, bonuses, giveaways. During this workshop, even the no cost people are going to get chance to win cool prizes on the randomizer that we did last time. We gave some cool things away. Everything from gift cards to month's supplies of healthy energizing drinks to signed books and t-shirts and cool stuff.
Yeah, that was a really
Limited,
fun
limited
workshop.
merch.
Yeah. So if you haven't attended, make sure you come. It is not boring. The last three have sold out. And I think the big thing is Shayna really gets a chance to share with her story on how you can get better, but she digs in on the VIP session and she actually really starts helping people get to some of the root causes. I'm amazed how much you get done in 1 hour. So if you can, definitely come August 7th, 7 p.m. Eastern, worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. I'm excited.
Power
I can't
hour.
wait. I can't wait. I've had a whole month and a half. No, it's almost 2 months without you.
And
Let's
yes, there's
go.
always new content. So even if you guys came to a prior workshop I've done a couple months ago or a few months ago, there's always new
It's
slides,
never the
new bullet
same.
points, new
Yeah.
content.
Shayna, I don't think that I could pay you to be boring. Even if I said, here's $100, be boring. It's not
And
boring.
there's people that watch the same movie for like a third time and they still
Yeah.
learn different things from it. So I encourage you, even if you came to a prior event, please come to this. You're going to pick up gold nuggets that you didn't catch last time, and you're going to learn some of the new content that's going to be there. worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim. Hope to see you there. Thanks for tuning in and click that subscribe button.
Finding the strength deep inside. Shayna Melissa takes us on this ride.